Hello and welcome to the Aerially Knits YouTube channel. This week, I will be showing you how to read your work when you're knitting. So we'll get to how you read your work while you're knitting in a second. But first, let's talk about the difference between a knit stitch and a purl stitch. So let's see if you can see here. Okay, so can you see far away? So as you can see, there's kind of like a pattern coming up here on this shawl, like a textured pattern. And the way that that was accomplished was by using these different stitches called knits and purls that we've gone over in previous videos. But let's just look at this for now and look at the difference between a knit and a purl. So this like smooth, like V-shape, these smooth V-shaped stitches, those are called knit stitches, and that's what you see most on TV and cartoons and things like that. These bumps is actually the opposite side of a knit stitch, but these are called purls, and they're just like bumps. Okay, so when you have the ribbing on your hat, so this is all knit, right? Like all these little V stitches. But down here on the ribbing, how you do ribbing is you alternate between knits and purls. So this is a 2x2 ribbing, so you do 2 knits and then 2 purls. You can count like the knits side by side a lot easier than you can count the purls side by side. But that's what 2 knits and then 2 purls look like. Okay? So when you're working, right now I'm doing a 1x1 rib. So I knit one, then I purl one. So I feel like learning to read your work and being able to read your work when it's this short is going to be an incredibly useful skill, which is why we're talking about it today. But if you look closely here, this is a knit stitch because there's that little V, and this is a purl stitch because there's a bump right there. So I just purled that one and I just knit that one, and you can tell that I just purled that because there's a bump there. So now, so it's knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl. So now this is a purl because there's a bump there. So I'm going to knit, and I knit continental, so I hold my yarn in my left hand, so hopefully that doesn't throw anybody off. So now I just knit, and that's what a knit stitch looks like after I do it. And now I'll purl. And do you see how it created that bump there? That's a purl. So that's how you read your work. Okay, that's a knit. And that's a purl. See, it created this bump. So that's how you kind of read your work as you go along. So let's talk a little bit about the different type of stitches. So we have stockinette, which is all stitches are knit. We have ribbing, which is alternating between knitting and purling. And then we have reverse stockinette, which is just the opposite side of knitting everything, which is just purls. So when this concept might be easier to understand as you practice and as you knit. That's how it was for me because, you know. I'm a visual learner and a hands-on learner, so it's easier for me after I've tried something to really grasp how it works. But say we were to knit something flat. So let's bring in this dishcloth. So this is from our beginning knit class, which you can access on our channel, and I even do it all in pencils. What? Yes, I made this dishcloth using pencils. But anyways, how to read this work. So you'll notice that it's just a lot of bumps, but it's not like straight bumps like this, right? It's kind of an interesting texture. So this is called garter stitch. So when you're knitting something flat, you're knitting back one way, flipping it, and knitting it the other way, or purling the other way, right? So when you knit something flat, if you knit every single row when you're knitting it flat, it will create this, because on the opposite side of every row that you knit, it'll create bumps. So this hat I knit in the round, so I was able to knit every row and it came out like this because I was constantly on the same side of my work. So if I wanted a dishcloth, say, to have one side that's all knit stitches and the other side all purl stitches, I would have to knit one side and purl on the other side. Knit one side, purl on the other side to create this stockinette and reverse stockinette fabric. That's really as much as I want to get into that for this video. Hopefully those things kind of helped. And honestly, just like with everything, practice helps. Practice helps for sure. So thank you so very much for watching this video. Stay tuned. Our next tutorial will be how to fix your mistakes. In order to be able to fix your mistakes, you're gonna have to be able to read your work. So that's why it's going in the order that it's going. Not that you need to know that. But anyways, I hope everybody has a wonderful day. Now go out there and craft your world.